Tonight on Connecticut's news station, a shocking shooting in the Elm City. A man fighting for his life after being shot in his own kitchen. Safety concerns in school. Parents want answers as lockdowns and lockouts continue to crop up. The message from state leaders.
New solutions being proposed after a deadly fiery crash closed a key link between two cities. I'll explain coming up.
Plus, pricey pasta. How badly the prices have gotten for one of Italy's staple foods, and if that could mean a more expensive dinner for you.
Breaking news now on Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
And we are following breaking news right now in New Haven. Gunshots ringing out just outside of Yale New Haven Hospital. Good evening, I'm Ben Goldman.
And I'm Jen Bernstein. Frightening moments for everyone inside of the hospital and those, of course, in the area. Fox 61's New Haven County Bureau reporter Julia LeBlanc live outside of Yale New Haven with more on what we know from police. Julia.
Hi, good evening to you both. Yeah, we've been following this breaking news for hours now. It all happened just around 3:30 this afternoon. This whole street here, York Street, right outside of the hospital, was closed off for hours. But as you can see, everything is back open now. However, you can also see that there is a police presence here just in case. Police say they do not believe that the suspect will return to this scene, but they do have a police presence here at the hospital once again, just to make sure everybody's safe. But police tell us that this all happened around 3:30 this afternoon. Actually, several blocks away from here is where it started. Police say there was a dispute on Howard and 2nd Street, which was a potential road rage incident where the suspect flashed their gun at someone else who was driving a car. That victim, Police Chief Carl Jacobson tells us, got scared and drove to Yale New Haven Hospital for safety. They parked their car right out front, right outside of the emergency room, and they were followed, police say, by that suspect who then allegedly shot at their car. Police say nobody was hit, nobody was struck. It was just their car that was hit by that gunfire. There was also a parking booth directly outside of the emergency exit that also was hit by one bullet. But once again, nobody was hurt. Police say that suspect, after those shots were fired, drove off and fled the scene. Police say they do have tabs on that car. They know what it is. They're not releasing that information right now because they think they have it handled. But here's what the chief had to say just moments after this incident.
If someone confronts you with a gun, they did the right thing by looking for a more populated area. The hospital is not a good idea. Call 911. I don't believe a call was put into 911 until after they were shot at. If you're being chased by someone else, especially a multi-block chase, and you know they have a gun, call 911 immediately.
Now, one thing Chief Carl Jacobson said that we want to make clear once again to the general public is that this hospital was never targeted in this incident. Nobody inside was targeted. Once again, this was a potential road rage scare that happened several blocks away from here. The person came here to the hospital looking for safety. Luckily, they did find that safety, and now police are on the search for the person who shot at them. Once again, they say they have video of that suspect getting in the car and driving away, and they have their eyes on them right now looking to make an arrest. We will, of course, keep you updated. We're live here in New Haven. Julia LeBlanc, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Julia, thank you. We're also following breaking news out of New Mexico right now, where officials say at least 3 people are dead and many others are wounded following a mass shooting. Among those shot, 2 law enforcement personnel who are in the hospital and are said to be in stable condition. The shooting happened in the city of Farmington, New Mexico, which is up in the northwest corner of the state. Police say the suspect was confronted and killed on scene. The shooter's identity has not been released, but police say there are no other known threats as of this time. And we are also following breaking news from Washington as well, as Special Counsel John Durham has released the long-anticipated report for the investigation into former President Donald Trump's campaign and Russia during the 2016 election.
Yeah, the investigation has spanned the last 4 years, and it found the FBI should have never launched the investigation in the first place. The over 300-page report states the FBI used what Durham called, quote, raw, unanalyzed, and uncorroborated intelligence to launch this probe. The report then goes on to say the Bureau used a different standard when weighing concerns about alleged election interference regarding Hillary Clinton's campaign. Durham, the former U.S. attorney for the District of Connecticut, did not recommend any new charges against any individuals, nor any changes about how the FBI handles these kinds of politically charged investigations.
A New Haven man is fighting for his life in the hospital after police say he was shot in his own home while in his kitchen. The shooting happened early Monday at the Westville Manor housing complex. Police say the victim was shot in the head while sitting at his kitchen table. His mother told Fox 61 that he was cutting a cake when gunshots rang out. Officials believe this was a targeted incident, but they're not sure exactly who the target was.
So knowing that it happened so close to me, there's a possibility, I don't know, my house could be next, my family could be next. I don't like thinking about that.
The overwhelming majority of shootings in New Haven are people that know each other, and there's no indication that this was a random incident where someone was just shooting.
Police are now asking anyone with information on the shooting to come forward.
The Hartford man accused of stabbing his girlfriend to death and admitting to the crime last month was back in court today, where his case was continued to next month. Outside of the courtroom, a powerful and emotional cry for justice.
We want justice! Give him life! We want justice!
Family and loved ones of 57-year-old Nilda Rivera, known as Linda, rallied outside of Hartford Superior Court calling for justice. Police say Rivera was stabbed 25 times by 52-year-old Pedro Grajales. Grajales then drove to the Hartford Police Department and told officers at the front desk that he had just stabbed his girlfriend and she was in a car parked outside.
I am angry. I am upset. This was disgusting. Monster needs to be put in jail. In jail. For life.
She was very loving, very understanding. She always liked to help everyone out. And she loved to cook, dance, and listen to music.
Inside of the courtroom, Grajales' public defender waived any time requirements for the probable cause hearing. The defense also requested he be put in protective custody and asked the court to order a competency evaluation.
State police are investigating after a body was found in the parking lot of the Target store on River Road in Lisbon. Troopers were called earlier this morning to help out the local fire marshal after a car caught fire. When the fire was put out, that's when officials discovered the body. At this point, this is being called an untimely death investigation.
Middletown parents are on edge after all schools were asked to secure the perimeter today. This came after police say several individuals were spotted trying to break into cars at the Spencer and Moody School. No one was allowed in or out of any of the schools until police lifted that order. Police have not located the suspects. And this incident and many others has parents all around the state concerned about the safety of their children. Happening right now, school leaders in Waterbury are trying to ease those concerns. It comes after two parents were arrested for trying to get into a school that was in lockdown last week. Fox 61's Gabby Molina has more on what's happening right now.
School officials and police will be speaking to parents and guardians at Crosby High School at 6 o'clock tonight after several incidents prompted lockdowns at schools around the city. Back in April, a student was arrested for bringing a loaded gun to Crosby High School. The next day, police were called to Kennedy High School for a report that someone had brought a weapon to the school. No weapon was found, but it did leave the school community on edge. And then last week, Crosby High School and Wallace Middle School were placed on lockdown, also for a report of a possible weapon. Again, no weapon was found, but misinformation that spread on social media caused even more concern, and two parents were arrested for trying to enter the school during the lockdown. Waterbury superintendent released a video to the school community urging parents and guardians to wait for official information from the school during instances like this. Families will get a chance to ask both the police chief and the school superintendent any questions during this meeting. We will have much more information on this coming up tonight on the Fox 61 News at 10 and 11. In Waterbury, Gabby Molina, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
An important issue for so many. Gabby, thank you very much. All right, let's turn to the weather right now and a beautiful start to the work week.
Sun feels great, feeling warm out there. Rachel, who would think? I don't know, maybe 3-4 weeks ago we'd be wanting rain right now.
I know, it is so weird. Every day we were like, seriously, more rain, more rain. The end of April was so wet, but now we turned the page into May and we are back to very dry conditions and we could use it. It's so dry, in fact, that tomorrow there's a fire weather watch in effect, a combination of low humidity, gusty winds, and dry conditions with a lack of recent rainfall means any brush fires that end up kind of getting ignited could spread spread more quickly than on your typical day. Tomorrow will also be the warmest day of the week, and then we talk about some cooler temperatures as we head into Wednesday and Thursday. Right now, temperatures are in the 70s across the state. We've got a mixture of some haze in the sky from wildfires all the way in western Canada, but also just some clouds that are mixing into the sky as well. But those will clear out a little bit later tonight. Right now, we're looking at temperatures in the low to mid 70s, a bit of a gusty breeze. Low temperatures tonight falling back around 50, and tomorrow we'll see high temperatures close to 80 degrees. We'll talk about the cool down that follows and the chance for frost coming up.
Okay, thank you, Rachel. Well, at the Capitol right now, should Connecticut police officers be required to inform drivers of the reason they were pulled over during a traffic stop?
State lawmakers say yes, advancing the legislation to do just that. Fox 61 political reporter Emma Wolforth joining us in studio with this bill up for debate now. Emma.
Ben, Jen, the state Senate voted unanimously last week to advance this proposal, which would require law enforcement tell drivers why they pulled them over. This bill coming from legislators and residents who say they didn't realize this wasn't already a law here in Connecticut.
You have to tell me why you stopped. And he looked at me and he said, no, I don't. By law, I don't have to tell you why I stopped you. So when I found that out, I was like, oh, no, this is a problem. We have to do something about this.
Wesley says he and his wife were shocked when they found out cops in Connecticut were not required by law to inform people why they were being pulled over during a traffic stop.
I think a lot of times when people are pulled over, they get nervous, they get anxious, they make mistakes, especially in predominantly communities of color where there's tension between the police and civilians at times. So we just think that it would be a good idea and good safety measure.
And state lawmakers agreed.
This is going to really help smooth over the relationship between law enforcement and minoritized communities where there has been a rift.
Gaston introduced a bill this session to require Connecticut police officers inform drivers of the reason they were being pulled over.
This is going to help to sort of de-escalate those kind of situations and to ensure that we are saving lives.
Gaston says people of color are overwhelmingly the target group pulled over by law enforcement. In 2019, black drivers were 18% of traffic stops, while only being 13% of the state population. But Gaston and the Wesleys say this will benefit everyone.
Being a woman and being a mom and really wanting other women and other moms to have that high level communication if they are ever pulled over, whether it's the police officer or the people in the car, there's safety, but there's also confidence.
We are going to be a model for how folks should do things across the country.
And Senator Gaston tells me he's had conversations with his colleagues in the House and is confident this bill will pass there as well. In the studio, Emma Wolforth, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Emma, thank you. Still to come here on the news.